All right. It's the game is the game. NBA live stream of consciousness. Check out the video I just dropped on the Knicks, just explaining why the Knicks are so bad this season and why it's actually a good thing. So definitely subscribe. Um, let's go ahead and get into it. So look at my trade breakdown from yesterday, but I think you kind of know my thoughts, but we'll just go quickly over some winners and some losers of the trade. Once again, I thought that the Sixers came out handily. A lot of people were saying that, you know, Daryl Morey should take 50 cents on the dollar and take, guys like Malcolm Brogdon, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes package. I forget what Minnesota offered him. Minnesota tried to trade for him, not offering Cat, Anthony Edwards, and D'Angelo Russell. They wanted like a McDaniel package, Vanderbilt, and Beasley. Like he was just getting disrespected by offense, and he stood strong, and he ended up getting hardened. So, I mean, definitely the Sixers are a winner. I just think Brooklyn's a loser in this scenario. You traded all these assets to get so if you really look at it, they traded all these assets to get Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. Uh, the gaggle of picks that they sent away to Houston, I think it's six first round picks, um, three straight first round picks, and three swaps. They traded away Jared Allen. They traded away Spencer Dinwiddie. So all these players, or really let Dinwiddie walk. He was hurt last year. You trade away all these assets to get Ben Simmons. Would you trade six round picks? Now they got two back from Philadelphia, one this year, but Philadelphia is probably going to go to a playoff, so it's going to be a low first round pick, and their picks are probably low. So you could say, hey, I'm haggling here. But would you trade four first round picks and Jarrett Allen for Ben Simmons, who you don't even know when he's going to play, and Seth Curry, who's hurt already, and then Andre Drummond? I don't know. I just think that they're a loser in this trade, and I explained more in depth why yesterday. But Ben Simmons, everyone's talking about, oh, he helps them defensively, and he can roll, and he's going to be what Draymond Green is for the Warriors. Draymond Green's not scared of the basketball. When Draymond Green gets the ball in the open space, he dunks it or he makes passes. Draymond Green doesn't play hot potato. Draymond Green's not scared to dunk. I talk about, oh, he's going to be the type of defender Draymond is. Ben Simmons is not a rim protector. He's an on-ball defender. I think these are people just fundamentally being lazy. This is like the lazy consensus where they see examples of other things that are working in the league and say, hey, this is what's going to work for Brooklyn. And hey, Draymond can't really shoot, and Ben doesn't shoot at all, so they're the same. And Ben's a great defensive player, and Draymond's a great defensive player, so they're the same. Like that's not it. That's not how it works. They defend completely different ways. I don't think Draymond Green is nowhere near the on-ball defender, nowhere near the defender of great wings and point guards that Ben Simmons is. But Draymond Green is a hellacious help defender, which Ben Simmons is not. And he's a hellacious rim protector, which Ben Simmons is not. So these lineups where you're saying that Ben Simmons is going to be your center, you're not going to have the rim protection that you get with the Draymond, right? That's one. And two, in situations where, okay, I'm playing the Nets, and Ben Simmons is going to play the Draymond Green role, and where he's coming up and setting screens. One, he's not the screener that Draymond Green is. Draymond Green sets really strong screens, and it allows Seth Curry to come off of that and make plays, to shoot his threes. It allows Wardell to do what Wardell does, right? He's just not that type of screener. That's one. And two, we've seen him pass up open dunks. Like Draymond Green doesn't do that. I might have to, this is probably going to be my next video breakdown on why comparing those two players is a fool's errand. So I think that they just lost this trade. Just in my personal opinion, this is a loser. This is a trade where a lot of teams, and I think rightfully so, looked at it and said, you know what, I'm not trading my best players for him. I'm not doing that. And they got lucky. I think Philadelphia, that James Harden wanted out, but I just think that this is a losing trade for the Nets. I think that Memphis is definitely a winner, not trading any of their players. I think that you break up the harmony. This team really loves to play together, and you break up the harmony of the team by making a trade for a substantial player and trading away pieces. It's better to let them fail in the playoffs, see what the holes is, and then everyone will be more amenable to plugging the holes in the offseason. In the same way, I think Atlanta was a winner by trading away Cam Reddish. I'm a big Cam Reddish fan. I think he's one of my Steve Nash All-Stars, with a segment which I'll do in the offseason of players who I think can make a meteoric rise, that can jump 3, 4, 5 levels in a single offseason. But the fact of the matter is they just had too many players, and players were unhappy with their roles. They've kind of cleared the deck, and I think you've seen them improve since his trade, because now everyone knows their roles, they knows their shots. It's hard to ask for those players, especially in the stage that Hunter is, and Trae Young is, and John Collins and Herder, to sacrifice roles and shots for the greater good. So I think that they definitely were a winner. I think Indiana was a winner getting Halliburton. I think this is a great trade for them. Obviously, I thought it was a terrible trade for the Kings, even though they acted like they won the Super Bowl because they beat Minnesota. I thought Detroit definitely won, bringing in Bagley, seeing what he has. I think that was a smart move by them. I would have tried to trade Jerami Grant more, but and accepted maybe a first-round pick and a solid player, because what Jerami Grant wants for himself, he wants to be the leading scorer on the team. I mean, there's only so far you can go with that. I want the ball more in Cade Cunningham's hand, Sadiq Bey's hand. I want to see what Bagley can give us this offseason, because this draft is chock full of centers and power forwards. So, hey, if Bagley gives you like a 20 and 10 to end the season, which he's done in points in his career, that's not crazy to say that. If he gives you a 20-10 towards the end of the year, that might make you look at the draft and how you approach it a bit differently. So I like that trade for them. I don't really understand the Boston Derek White, the price of the brick that they paid for him. This team just can't shoot. If you watch my series on why Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown cannot be the two best players on the title team, I said playmaking was one of the biggest lacking skills that they have. And you would think, everyone's saying that they need a point guard, they need someone to supplement it, and they just don't have it. If Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were LeBron and Wade, or, obviously, the apotheosis of that, the Jordan, Pippen, I think LeBron and Wade are a better tandem, but, that's another story for another day. If they were those type of players, that would be fine. That would be a great ad. A defender, Marcus Smart is a defender. You could be just a team that just, if you have Time Lord in the back of it, and we're just defending and running, but they're not those type of players. So I don't like that trade for them, for what they gave up. I don't understand them trading for Tice. I just think that, the GM is the former coach, and you could ask my little brother or why they played Tice so much. It used to upset him, and it just seems like he's a coach's favorite. So you trade him and get Houston off the hook for that bad contract. I just don't understand his obsession with getting Daniel Tice when Grant Williams is a really good player, when Time Lord is a really good player, and you have Al Horford. Like, why bring in Daniel Tice? I just don't understand that. So the Celtics are definitely a loser in my book. The Dallas Mavericks trade, I don't understand that trade either. I still don't get it. These are contracts that all expire at the same time. There was a minute there in the Clippers series before Porzingis got hurt that their two-man game between Doncic and Porzingis looked like it made sense. So the upside, even though it's wishing on a star because the guy is always hurt, the upside is just more tangible with Porzingis than with Dinwiddie, who's shooting like 38%, and Bertans, who's just been a shell of himself since he got paid. So, I mean, like they said, oh, well, the Luka fanboys will definitely say, "Oh well, Luka is going to get him so many open shots," but he all he shot was open shots. This is not a guy that was shooting off the dribble step back threes. He only shoots open threes. So like I don't understand that. Maybe he's going to be more open. Maybe that's going to be gooder for him, but I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Those are the teams that stand out to me. I think that Utah was definitely a loser. They're a team to me where, what the media, said, they always tried to say, this is a stealth title contender, blah, 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 blah. But they're just, to me, so unathletic on the wing. They lost the wing. They brought in Nickeil Walker-Alexander. We'll see. That's a good young player. I like the trade for them. I don't think he's changing their fortunes this year, but I like that trade for them. But to not bring in a more athletic wing that could give you some scoring punch, like a Harrison Barnes would have been great for them, but they wanted a player that could help them. I don't know why they didn't look at maybe like a Bogdanovic and some picks. I think maybe you could have got the Kings to jump on that, because I just think Harrison Barnes is obviously a better athlete and he's a better, more reliable scorer. I think if you slide him into that number 2-ish, 2 1/3 with Clarkson role, I think that you could really start to see him play dividends. But they stayed pat besides that Walker trade. And I don't know, it's just a team that's gotten really old and cricky all of a sudden, with Ingles, with Bogdanovic, with Conley, Gobert. How do you see him aging? I wouldn't be surprised if Mitchell's the next for the exits. I wouldn't be surprised. So I think that's a loss for them. Something that came up today that I wanted to talk about was, let me bring up the report here. Nuggets president of basketball operations, Tim Connelly, said that he thinks Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., will be physically cleared to return, hopefully in the not too distant future. I think that they'll both probably come back not too much later after the All-Star break. And if you remember, this is a team that had definitely had title aspirations before these two guys got hurt. The Pro Football Doc said that they should be pretty close to 100% by the time that they return. I believe Jamal Murray, and I can look this up exactly when he got hurt.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I didn't ask you to. I have one of these Macs that has the Siri button, which is kind of annoying. This is one of the old school Macs. They've removed all this nonsense on the next one. Jamal and Murray injury date. And so it's April 12th. So it's been a little bit. So it's been about 10 months since his injury. And usually it's about an 8 to 12 month injury. And I just remember reading stories about how tough his dad was with him, got him into meditation years ago when, this wasn't even a big thing, have him doing push-ups in the snow. Like, this guy is just a worker. And I definitely think that he's going to come back, and he's going to come back strong. It might be hyperbole to say hyperbole to say that he's going to be like AP. You know how Adrian Peterson came back, if you're a football fan, for the Minnesota Vikings. You know how, there it is. Get my water bottle. A little cotton mouth. And you know how Adrian Peterson came back for the Vikings. I think he can definitely have something similar to that. I mean, I just think his work ethic is there for that. And then Michael Porter Jr. with his back injury, for him being physically cleared, I think that is great. So I say that to say this. I think that they're a stealth threat to win the West if those two guys come back. So today, Bovada, I looked on the odds. Shout out to Bovada. So they are plus 1,800 to win the West. So you have the Suns team, which is rolling right now, the Warriors team, which has gotten a bit creaky. You know, a lot of people, once again, Draymond Green is the most underrated player and overrated player in NBA history. He's, you know, that enigma, that yin and yang to me. But you see how the Warriors struggle when he's not in the lineup. The defense obviously suffers, but the ball movement suffers as well. So who knows, you know, how strong he is going to be. The Memphis Grizzlies are an unproven team. I've just talked about Utah struggles. The Lakers look like they're in the trough of sorrow. So you put all this together, I think they're prime and ready, the Western Conference, for a team, a juggernaut, to come out of nowhere. And why can't it be the Nuggets? This is a team that, while these players are injured, they have played together for a while. There has been a lot of consistency when it comes to that team. So it's not like, hey, these new guys are going to come in and it's going to take time to get everybody acclimated. These guys are going to be rolling. So I think the Nuggets at plus 1,800, that's a tasty, tasty bet. I think if you're a betting man and you got a couple of dollars to throw on it, a couple of duckings, a couple of shillings, a couple of Franklins, Benjamins, the Lucci, like my man Marty Marr says, if you have some money to throw on it, I think that's a tasty, tasty bet. I think that they could come back in and, you know, just pick off like they never left. So I wanted to talk about that. I think I went 4-0 last night on my picks. I know I personally had a good night. So that would make me 5-6. So let's go ahead and try to keep the good times rolling. Check out my Twitter page because I'm going to start posting bets there as well, because, you know, you have to look at these get pet bets. I don't post mine till a couple minutes till tip off because, you know, there could be a late scratch. You know, you never know what can happen. So I like to wait to the last possible minute to put in bets. I don't like to put in bets early, especially in this COVID era. But I haven't heard of a guy being on the COVID list for a while. So either they changed the testing or they stopped testing or everyone's in the league's got it, which might be the actual answer. So they have immunity to it now. But as far as today, I really like Atlanta, especially after the Spurs moving and shaking a couple of pieces. I really like Atlanta. Like I said, I think that they're playing really well. I like the Nuggets getting 6 points in Boston. I think that's an interesting, tasty bet to take. Philadelphia minus 13.5. I don't think that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's playing. So, you know, that's one thing we have to wait on. Cleveland is giving 6 points to Indiana at home. That's an interesting bet. And once again, we have to see who's playing in that one and not. I know Darius Garland got announced out, and this is going to be Halliburton's first game. It doesn't look like Miles Turner is back either. So this might be a bare bones Pacers roster. So let's just wait and see who's hurt and who's actually playing. But I am leaning on taking the Pacers in that game. And I think that's about it. The Jazz play the Magic tonight. The Jazz are coming off of a good game versus the Warriors, but the Warriors have kind of been struggling. So I wouldn't take too much stock into that. So that might be something I look at. The line is pretty high, minus 13.5. But the ones I'm definitely recommending is Denver +6, Atlanta -8. And that's it till we see the injury report. I think the Sixers are a good tease opportunity, and Utah is a good tease opportunity as well. You can sprinkle in a little bit of that Atlanta line if that line is too rich for your blood, and maybe the Hornets line. Even though the Hornets haven't really been playing that well as either, but Detroit's been getting their head completely detached from their shoulders lately. So those are good bits and things to look at as well. So, all right. So once again, it's The Game is a Game, NBA live stream of consciousness. Check out that next video. Try to give you at least 2 videos of that a week, and then check out for the series next week. Who has the belt? The best player at every position in the NBA. I'm going to drop those on Wednesdays. So check that out. All right. It's The Game is a Game.
So what's up, man? What's up with you otherwise, you know? The game is a game. Always.